So I'm about to become a father for the second time. And it's funny because alcoholism doesn't seem to take that into consideration. So I just keep drinking as if I wasn't. But I'll end up in a hospital room. But I've got enough Valium and sort of painkillers because I have a debilitating disease. So I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. It isn't even part of the show. That's a bonus. That's an extra. I hadn't had anything, I didn't plan anything because all the times that I had seen the Oblique Orchestra, they had always done everything improvisational, and I pride myself on my ability to perform on an improvisational basis. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't have anything prepared. But then that leads to these moments of sitting on the front of a stage with a bottle of wine, trying to think of what I'm going to tell all you people. I got it. I figured it out. Okay. Something really strange happened. And actually, you know what? I think I might have to go further back and explain to you how I'm going to have to go even further back than that. I'm going to have to go pretty far back here, but I'll give you the crib notes. I'll scoot through to the meaty part that's just happened. The crib note is a bunch of friends of mine and I lived in a house in Elyria, Ohio. And when we were done living in the house in Elyria, we decided that we were going to move out to San Francisco. So we got rid of all of our possessions, and we got rid of all of our possessions, and we got into a station wagon. We drove to San Francisco. Now, while on our way out there, my friend Jason Whitmer had this girlfriend. Her name was Becky. Her name was Rebecca. And she was a really sweet girl. And they had just met not too long before we moved out there. So he called at every stop, and he wrote her long love notes in the backseat of the station wagon. He was a writer like me. So we would write these vicious notes to each other. We would write these love poems to this girl on our way out to San Francisco. And we'd be at a Kentucky Fried Chicken at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of some nowhere at a truck stop. And Jason Whitmer would be standing out there talking on the payphone, tears streaming down his face. He was very delicate. He was a very delicate person. So we get out to San Francisco. I went out there with $180 in my pocket, and that was not counting all the gas money that we spent. So by the time I got there, I had $30, and I spent all that on alcohol. So I had to borrow money to take a bus trip back to Youngstown, Ohio. And eventually they all ran out of money too, and we all ended up in Columbus. So it was just a long way of going about 120 miles due directly south, because we all ended up in Columbus from Elyria. It was absurd. It was ridiculous. So we're all living in this little tiny apartment in Columbus, Ohio, just a mere 2 months after we had all left the big house that we lived in Elyria to go out to San Francisco. So Jason Whitmer is still dating this girl, Rebecca, and she moves from Elyria to Columbus to be with him. So while they're developing this relationship in Columbus, Jason begins now to see her face to face every day and grows tired of her because the relationship was beautiful and delicate and doomed when we were on the road, but now that they saw each other every day, he wasn't so hot on her. So he broke up with her. And she was, of course, devastated for the prerequisite amount of time for a 3-month relationship. It was a couple of days. But she was still friends with myself, my friend Jim, a bunch of other people. So I waited the appropriate amount of time, I thought, after they broke up, before I started kind of hanging out with her on my own, just as friends, her and I. Well, it was around this time that she met my on-again, off-again girlfriend, and they moved in together. So I would go over to the house and I would hang out with my on-again, off-again girlfriend and Jason's off-girlfriend, Rebecca. And it's that, it was a weird triangle thing that was going on where when you're with an ex-girlfriend, you feel very comfortable, so you're not trying to impress this new girl that's around you. And there's nothing that is more attractive to a woman than confidence. And who are you more confident around than a girl that you've had sex with 1,000 times? So she got to see me at my best.